The biggest misconception about elastic band training for karate is that people use it just to make faster punches because they think that the resistance is making them throw faster. So people do a lot of this. They grab the band here and start throwing punches like that, which of course that is one progression to do so. But you'll want to think about correct alignment and using resistance as a way to reinforce that correct alignment. So for example, if I just face the direction that I'm punching and I just attach this to my hand here and just throw a punch, yes, I'm feeling resistance pulling back and it's making me push my hand out further, but I'm not really focusing on my body alignment facing towards that direction. For example, I could flare up my elbow, I could turn my hip this way, and I could still throw punches that feel fast. So one thing you can do with a light elastic band, and we'll move to a heavier one, is that you want to kind of start like 45 degrees to your ending angle, and you're going to already have tension onto the band here. And what you're going to do is you're going to rotate your hips and turn your body towards that punching angle. You're going to notice if your hand flares out or your elbow flares out and you start rotating towards it, you're going to feel some tension in your joints, right? Your goal here is to release that tension and really reinforce your striking with your structure. So for example, here's some troubleshooting stuff. If I rotate and my elbow flares out, I'm going to feel it on my shoulder. I need to bring my elbow in. If my elbow comes in, I still rotate and I still feel it around my elbow joint here and a little bit on the back of my shoulder here, I need to bring my hand kind of forward towards my center. Now, if you notice from the side profile, my hand's kind of tucked in, and from the front, my hand is actually kind of starting from the center line here. If I were to do that punch without any of those, my hand would start from out here, and see how it kind of flares out this way. So I really need to start reinforcing my hips and even my foot here too. If I start turning and my hips turn and everything's tight here but my foot's back here, I'm going to feel a big pull from the resistance band kind of along my abdomen here. So I need to turn my heel up, turn my toes towards the direction that I'm punching, and that's going to allow me to have proper alignment before I throw that strike. Notice here when you extend the elastic band, you should feel no resistance trying to hold this band forward. For example, if I just turn my elbow out just a little bit, I'm going to feel a lot of resistance trying to hold this band with my shoulder. If I keep my elbow in and just flare my hand out off center, I'm going to feel a lot of resistance right here and behind my shoulder trying to hold this band here. So if I have correct alignment here, shoulders back, elbow tight, here I'm holding the resistance band with my structure. Another thing you can watch out for, if I don't turn my belts all the way directly towards the direction that I'm trying to punch, and it's kind of tilted here, I'm going to start feeling a lot of pull actually on my calf, because my calf is now pulling much of the load of the resistance band trying to hold that in place. But once I turn my belt forward, it is my hip bone and my structure that holds this band in place. So this is even more apparent when you use a heavier resisting band, right? So this one's a lot heavier, and with that in mind, you want to go as slow as you need to, so that you are not straining any muscles and hurting yourself here. So I'm going to purposely go misaligned and point towards my punching direction, but as slow as I can. So I'm here, I'm going like that, I'm trying to punch, and I feel a lot of strain on my shoulder here. My elbow's kind of torqued back here, and my hand is doing all the work, and I'm trying to push all the way through. I feel a lot of pressure on my calf and my big toe here, trying to drive this band forward. Now, if you watch me self-correct as I do this, you're going to realize that your structure is pushing you into the punch. So I have resistance off the bat. Now I'm going to start rotating. I feel pressure on my shoulder, I'm going to bring my elbow in. I already rotated my foot here, and now my hip is pointed towards the direction of the punch. My belt is pointed towards the direction of the punch, and now all I'm going to do is kind of lean with my body into that, and it's a nice and easy push. I don't feel any resistance really. Most of the resistance is actually where my hand is, because that's my structure holding the resistance band in place. So you can kind of be here and kind of relaxing a little bit, kind of feel where the band is pulling against you. Anywhere you feel a little strain, like right there, I had to self-correct because my posture was a little too far back. That means I need to bring my hip down, kind of angle myself forward, lock my back knee here, and step forward, and you're kind of in a Zenkutsu Dachi or a front stance here, and your structure is kind of holding yourself up. So Using a resistance band, again, it should be a slow process getting your alignment correct. Over time, you can make that process a little faster, but that's not the point, right? Your goal is to get your alignment correct as you throw your punch. Now, once you take the elastic band away, your punches should be a lot sharper and follow the correct alignment. There should be no deviation off of that path after you do a lot of repetitions with this. So if, for example, my hand flares out, maybe at the last point of impact, you're gonna feel it on the band before you feel it when you shadow box. So if I'm doing this, this should be a straight line. And if I flare it out just a little bit, you're gonna kind of see that. And I feel it in the weakest point of my alignment, right? So I felt it in my elbow joint, flaring out here. Or let's say I flared my elbow out preemptively, and you're gonna see a weird motion here. Most people, when they shadow box, they like that whip and they flare their elbow out. You cannot do that on a resistance band, right? So once you try that, you're gonna feel a huge pull on your shoulder here. You're not gonna even be able to punch your hand out like that. So going slow, again, is probably the best way to utilize this tool. That way, when you go fast with it, everything should be a lot straighter and more like a straight line piston down the line.